Hi there, I'm Tiffany Young.
And I'm Ben Friedman from Neophyte.tv,
the technology show for the not-so-geeky.
and you're watching LabRats.tv.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, and welcome to another fabulous edition of LabRats, your favorite tech podcast. I'm Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers. How do you know it's their favorite tech podcast?
Because we're like way up there in the iTunes land thing. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Steve Huntress, one of our graphic designers, he watches it every day. He's obsessed with it. And, we've been floating up there in the, 25, 22, 21. And you helped make it happen.
Keep clicking. Push it up.
That's it. Anyway, today on the show, I'm so excited. New version of Windows.
Oh, I thought maybe Leopard was out.
What?
The new Macintosh operating system.
Boring. No, Windows Vista. We've been waiting for it for 5 years. 5 years. Count it. 5 years since XP. So, aren't you excited?
I don't know. I need to be convinced.
Windows Vista, fabulous. Brand new operating system. New look and feel. Better security. Yeah, there are some problems, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Problems, eh? Go figure. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's look and find out what they are right after this.
This is a llama. It carries luggage. This is a burrito. It is lunch. This is Camtasia Studio 4. It makes screencasts. Now answer our trivia question. What screencasting tool is not woolly or made of beans? I'll be back at the end of the show with the answer.
Well, during the break, we were trying to get the cats up here to say, hey, Windows Vista's here. We even bring them treats. No luck.
They're hanging out with our pal Steve over there.
They don't care. They don't care. Like the Mac people, they don't care. Oh well. Anyway, let me show you what's new in Vista. Because chances are, well, you've probably seen a load of stuff on TV, and maybe you've even touched the operating system. But for those that haven't, I'm going to do a little tour with Windows Vista to show you what you're in for when you get around to getting it and installing on your machine. Although one caveat, should somebody install it on their machine right now? Before I show you, I want to get his opinion, because he's been playing with it a lot.
Install it right now. You know what? Maybe not. One of the things that we've been talking about when we've been talking about getting Vista is the best option probably is, does that taste good?
Mm-hmm, very tasty.
Is probably waiting until you buy a new computer.
Yes.
To make sure that you've got one that's completely compatible.
That's true.
Now there's an upgrade advisor that you can go to, find it at Microsoft, and they'll tell you whether your machine is capable of running Vista, but
that's very true.
You know how it was when you went from 98 to XP. You could theoretically do the upgrade. You had the hardware for it, but it was a bit slow, and some things didn't work, and some things didn't do the transition between the operating systems properly. So it may be better, if you're thinking of buying a new computer anyways, to wait until you do that to put Vista on there, rather than spending the money and having a system that may or may not work.
That's true too.
So,
thank you. It's true. I've been playing with this operating system now for about 6 months, and I finally saw the release version, and you know what? Unless you have a really, really fast computer, unless you have a couple of gigs of RAM, it requires half a gig of RAM, that's the spec, and a modern processor, which is like a couple of gigahertz, and a lot of video RAM, 128 megs of VRAM.
But this is just to run the lower end version of it as well.
This is a basic spec. So I would run a 2 to probably a 3 gigahertz machine, preferably with multiple core, at least 1 gig of RAM, perhaps 2, and a big honking video card. Somewhere in the region of like a 256 megabyte video card, something along those lines, because this thing is a memory hog. But what you really want, Vista is an okay operating system, but it's great as soon as you add all the bells and whistles. That's what it's all about. So let me show you the interface.
Right.
First, let's get the cat out of the camera. Come on, out of the way. Bye. Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice about Vista when you first boot it up is it looks a lot like Windows XP. However,
it looks fairly similar, yeah.
Fairly similar, except that
the icons are sort of rearranged a little bit. They're redesigned.
They're right, they are.
And you've got a bar over on the side. But
on the right-hand side, we'll talk about that in a second. The Start button's gone. It still says Start, but people are calling it the Windows button now.
I've heard some people referring to it as the Pearl as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, so when you click on that, one of the things you first notice will be that when you start browsing through this, first of all, let's see if we can find, we're going to click on all programs here. Now, out of Windows XP, that would cascade out to the right, right? You would see a big cascade out, but it doesn't. It refreshes inside of the Start menu.
Right, so it keeps your real estate on the screen a little bit less.
Which is kind of nice.
It's kind of nice, although it is a lot different. It's not broken down into category views like before necessarily.
Yeah, I much preferred this method. I much prefer this method.
So how long did it take you before you got used to this?
10 minutes?
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Okay.
But really, I mean, nobody's going to be clicking on the Start menu anymore, believe it or not. I mean, you're going to click to open it up, and then...
they're gone, buddy.
They're all gone. Go on, go, get off.
Gone.
Go on. Shoo, shoo. This is what you really want to pay attention to is this is the Start, there's the search. There are search bars on pretty much every single window in Vista because it's really easy to navigate. So it's designed to basically get you to places really quickly. So for example, so I'm going to click down here, and instead of going to, where do we want to go inside of the control panel? Maybe we're going to go to the users. So I want to go to the users menu. So instead of clicking all the way into the control panel, I'm just going to type user, and there you go. All of a sudden, as you see, that as I start to type, you get context-sensitive menus. And that's what I want, is the user account. So I'm going to click on that, and bingo, I'm right there. So basically, Windows and Microsoft have been criticized, too many clicks in Windows. It takes way too long to get where you want to go. Well, the beautiful thing about this is they've solved that with search. Now, as you can see, we talked about search again. All of a sudden up there is another search bar. So again, you can kind of filter through what you're looking for without having to click a million times. You're just going to say, well, let's see if we can find the remove your password.
This is kind of reminding me a little bit of Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yes.
That's very true. And I'll give Apple credit. Spotlight was absolutely fabulous, and really Microsoft has gone and cloned it. So give credit where credit's due.
Good, thank you.
You're very welcome. See, I don't hate the Mac all the time. I even say nice things sometimes, don't I?
Rarely.
Rarely, okay.
Back to Vista.
Back to Vista. All right, so besides just sort of that context-sensitive search inside of all the windows, there's also, of course, a fully fledged search function. If we click on search, there is a search button here.
Yeah, and that's for when you need to do something a little bit more intense, like use advanced search by file size, by file type.
But it's nice. See across here, you have all email, document, picture, music, other. You can actually filter by file type, and in fact, it's actually very granular. I could actually type lab rats here. And
all the things on your system.
Policy, yeah, that relate to
email and on the desktop.
That's right.
Some of our episodes.
One of my favorite things is email.
Right. So does that just work with Outlook, or does that work with any email program that you have on there?
It works with Outlook and Windows Mail, which is actually the reinvented Outlook Express.
Okay, so the ones that are basically bolted into the operating system.
Yeah. Although I haven't tried it with Eudora. That's probably worth a test to see if that does. I mean, what it does is find contents of files. So there's no reason why it wouldn't index the contents of Eudora emails and things like. The other thing I want to mention is a new interface. I don't know if you notice it. It's very beautiful. It's glassine-like. It's called Arrow. So if we open up a Windows here.
Oh, I just saw something there that interested me. But
what was that?
When you were hovering over that, it popped up. You've got live view here.
I have live view.
A live preview of anything that's going on in those windows.
I was getting to that in a minute. Let me talk about the interface first.
It just popped up. Go to the interface. Go to the interface. Oh, come on. Just go to the interface.
All right. So the interface. So you open a window, and it's called Arrow or Arrow Glass. And as you can see, it's kind of a glassine look and feel. So you can actually see through the glass, which is, I don't know. That's why you need 256 megs of video RAM.
Yeah, you know what? This is one of the things that does not impress me about Vista. People are making a big deal about the Arrow Glass interface, and you know what? Linux does this, and Mac does this with an integrated graphics card. So the horsepower that you need to make this thing run. Don't
buy Vista, just go buy a Mac. For God's sakes, go buy a Mac. Just get it over and done with once and for all.
I just gotta say, I was expecting more out of the interface than this provides. Well, it's neat, but I don't know whether it's worth spending $700 on a graphics card for.
Have you seen this?
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. You kind of, oops. Well, hang on, let me just go tab. So I can scroll through.
That's pretty nice.
And see, I have lab rats playing right there, right? That's on pause right now. But if I push play, and then I go,
and it's still going.
It's still going. And to get to your live view idea, if you come down here to the, where are we? It actually plays, the video is actually playing in live view, which is kind of nice. Now, is it fabulous? Is it earth-shattering? No! Is it fun? Sure it is.
It's a nice little feature.
And we didn't have it on XP.
It doesn't blow me away necessarily.
No.
It's playing catch up in a lot of ways, but
Absolutely.
it's a nice addition.
Absolutely. All right. On the right-hand side of our screen here is...
How did you get to that diagonal 3D interface, by the way? What are you typing to do that?
Windows key,
Windows key?
tab.
Okay, so it's not Alt-Tab, it's Windows-Tab.
Windows tab.
And you can still do Alt-Tab in the old school way and just scroll through them in the usual way, right?
Alt-Tab actually gives you kind of a slightly more funky...
Yeah, so that's the way we used to do it. But I noticed it is still actually running the video in that preview window as well.
Ooh.
Again, it's a very nice.
Very nice.
Nice touch.
Nice touch. There you go. All right. Now, you mentioned on the right-hand side here, there was something called sidebar. And this is nothing really unique here. We have... basically, it's an area to keep little applets. Now, in Mac, it's called what? Gizmos?
It's called
widgets.
Widgets. Yeah, so you have something that flies up called the dashboard.
You can speak. It's okay,
Yeah,
Mr. Huntress.
You know, I've actually turned that off, so I don't actually use that anymore because I just find it kind of annoying. First thing I did with Vista is turn this off as well.
Right. Well, I understand that.
Yeah, so
let me show
widgets, this is gadgets.
This is gadget. You right-click on it, you can say add gadgets, and then you can get a bunch of different guys. So you can like direct grab a CPU meter here onto your sidebar, right? And you can see the Mac ding-dongs over here are what? Say something. Oh, rip off. Anyway.
That is one of the things that has been leveled against Vista for the last little while, is a lot of the new features in this
They're playing catch-up. I recognize that. But, so switch to a Mac. Switch to a Mac.
You don't have to. I mean, the basic thing is, Mac is a nice operating system if you're into the Mac,
Yes.
but the majority of users out there are still running Windows. So the people that are going to upgrade, some of them are going to move to the Mac, some of them are, well, most of them I think are going to move to Vista. So
that's true.
It's good to know what you're in for.
There you go. Now, I want to talk about a couple of other key features inside of Windows Vista. One of them is security. It's been a huge problem.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote the book Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses.
What was that again?
The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses.
I didn't catch that.
It was the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, and I can't say it 9 times fast, can I?
It's been about 20 episodes. I thought he should get
Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses. Anyway, because Windows XP was incredibly insecure, it was tons of spyware, there was tons of viruses, it was rife with all kinds of nasties. XP was just very insecure.
Now, they said at the time that it was the most secure operating system we've ever released, and of course, it wasn't.
I called it the most insecure operating system ever, and I got a nasty call from Microsoft and said, we went to have lunch with you, we're really mad at you, and they still are. But anyway, but I mean, you know, 1 million pieces of spyware and 100,000 viruses can't be wrong.
Sure. So this one right here, now this one is the most secure version of Windows ever, right?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's supposed to be. And I'll show you why I think it's going to be. How does Apple deal when you want to install or change anything on Apple? What does it do?
Well, anytime you want to do something that changes the operating system, it pops up with a little alert and asks you for your password.
Right.
And says you're about to do something. Something maybe naughty.
Right. Okay. Well, Microsoft's come up with a variation on that called User Account Control, UAC. UAC it's called. So anytime you want to go and either install a piece of software or change a major piece of system settings, go into your registry or whatever, you're confronted with an alert that says you're about to do something that could really mess with the system. So I'm going to try to open the registry here and we'll see how it works.
Doesn't sound like a variation to me at all.
Well, there's no password. That's actually better. I'm going to type regedit, right? That gets into a really nasty part of the operating system that you could cause all kinds of problems. When I click on that, watch what happens.
Oh.
User account control. So what it says is, Windows needs your permission to continue. And so you either choose continue or cancel. So I'm going to click continue here, and then I continue on to the item that I wanted to do.
Okay.
So that's good when you want to change any fundamental settings and that sort of thing. Now, they are encouraging people to not run in administrator mode all the time, because there's two types of privilege levels. There's administrator, where you can change everything on the system and install anything system-wide, or there is user account, or the users, limited users, which is kind of people that are allowed to play in their own desktop, play in their own space, install in their own space, but not do anything to fundamentally change or damage the system.
Right, and this is actually what security gurus have been telling people to do all along under XP, is to run as a limited user, and enter in that password for the administrator when necessary.
But inside of the user privileges inside of XP, it's just a pain in the butt. At least now, if you go into user mode here and you try to do something, it says we need a administrator level password. to let you do this kind of thing. So the idea would be that Ma and Pa would set up an administrator account, and then for all the kids and themselves, they'd set up a user account as well. Run in there all the time. When you want to make changes, pop out, go back into administrator mode and that sort of thing. You're still going to have to be confronted with this UAC thing all the time. The bad news, Microsoft's not so bright when it comes to implementation of UAC. Now, if you change the time on the Mac, what happens there? Do you get confronted by a security alert?
No, some of your applications that don't like to be tinkered with may say, I don't like that so much, your program has stopped working. But in general, no. You change the time.
I'm not sure why they did this. I mean, I can understand maybe, a virus wanting to do this perhaps. So if I click down here on the time, and I say change date and time settings, then I get a little shield, and it asks me for permission. I got to change the date and the time. I got to do that. Is that necessary? Is that a security issue? I guess a virus could change that.
It could be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that level is necessary. Anyway, so I won't go into all the. I think one day we'll do an episode on all the security features inside of.
It's worth noting that you can actually turn user access control off completely if you don't want to deal with it.
And we will show you how to do that later on.
Not recommended.
Not recommended, but we'll show you anyway because we're bad people. Anyway, so I wanted to show you a little bit about that's kind of the fundamental experience you're going to see when you first install this operating system. So let's break for a commercial, and then we'll have final thoughts with Windows Vista.
Earlier in the show, we asked you what screencasting product is not woolly or made of beans. Is it A, a llama, B, a burrito, or C, Camtasia Studio 4? The answer is Camtasia Studio 4. Learn more at labrats.techsmith.com.
So that's Windows Vista. That's at least the first look at Windows Vista. Oh, look, your Apple's complaining about a security update.
Security update. What bad timing. I was all smug up until then.
Anyway, it's worth mentioning that Windows Vista, if you don't want to go to an Apple, the Windows Vista comes in about 6 million different versions.
Yeah, I think it feels like 6 million, but there's about 5. So there's Home Basic.
Well, actually, there's one. There's a basic one for people in India who are buying $6 computers or something like that. But you would see that in North America or in general.
Okay, so for the most part, for the
general majority of the Westerners and Easterners, well, I don't know. For anybody who's going to go and buy a $1,000 computer, you're going to have these following options.
Mm-hmm. So Home Basic.
Home Basic.
Home Premium.
Home Premium.
Ultimate.
Yeah, we don't get there yet because there's Business first.
Business, okay.
Business.
Yes. Ultimate.
Ultimate.
I love Ultimate.
Yes. And that's 4.
Okay, I don't remember the other one.
I don't either, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Now, Home Basic, Home Premium, Ultimate is right. That's the Ultimate. There's the Business version, and there's one other version too. And it's going to be right here. Look, see? Look, here it is.
Maybe it's that signed limited edition one with Bill Gates' sweat put in a little vial.
Should we look it up? Why don't you tell them about where to email us?
Well, if you'd like to email us about this really bad lapse of our memories here, why not do it to feedback@labrats.tv. And we've been showing off photographs on this screen. We can't do this because I've got to do an update right now on this. But if you want to send your photograph for us to put on the screen here, also same place, feedback@labrats.tv, and keep the photographs reasonably small. I'd say we've been saying up to a meg, but you know what? 100K is fine. So keep them small. We can blow them up, and they'll look fine.
Yes. And, so information for, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. There's lots of versions of Windows. There's a flavor for everybody. We had Peanut Gallery over here asked, how much is it? So I can tell you that it's going to cost a lot of money. It is.
I think it tops out at about $399 US.
Depending if you buy a full version or upgrade or whatever. I think the lowest copy is about $100, 100 and change US dollars. Most people spend $150 or so thereabouts for a Home Premium version.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about Vista that I will give them as a really good thumbs up is if you start at one of the lower end versions because you're on a budget and you want to upgrade to one of the more fully featured versions, you can upgrade at any time and pay not just the difference, but the difference plus a little bit of a premium on that. So we've got 4 here. Home
so
Basic.
there was 5. There was Basic, Basic.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think when they were originally first talking about, there was something like 9 different SKUs for this all around the world. So
that's true.
But these are the ones you're going to be looking at probably for the most part.
Fascinating.
And you can start low, but if you really want to, trick this thing out and play games and show off all the features, like some of the features on there aren't available in the basic version. So you want to go with Ultimate if you're going to do that, or at least go to Home Premium.
I think most people will buy Home Premium. That'll give you, all the new interface, and it'll give you basically everything you're going to need. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing.
So if you're just like surfing the web, doing email and stuff, maybe Home Basic is going to be enough, though.
No, because Home Basic doesn't give you the new GUI.
Doesn't give you the new GUI?
No.
What's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point?
No eye candy. All right, that's our introduction to Windows Vista. Hope you enjoyed another edition of Lab Rats.
I did.
My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
We'll see you next time.
I got to update my computer.
There you go. Type in user account, authenticate.
There it goes.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Yeah, give me 5 at 10. That'd be great. Actually, do me a favor and give me 10 at 10.
And give us 12 at 8 and 16.
I'll just start going like this.
That's right. Smoking a pancake. Biff for the pancake. Boo in a blitz. Okay.
Hey, robot farm.
Ready?